Same git ref on Windows and build clients using MSys. Now is MSys MGW, or do you still is MSys still the thing you used for cross compiling? Even if when you're doing Linux to Windows normally, or like in more of an environment like Jason would have, where he's Linux and he does Windows builds. Ah, okay. So then we can set version on the individual distro. Yeah, that's what I had before. Uh, I'm presuming this lets you run the compiler in more of the native Linux environment. Ubuntu default version 1. Uh, my understanding is this would let you run the native Linux, like GCC or G++, in cross-compiler mode. Yeah. And then maybe, I'm not sure what parts of that are the Windows cross-compiler. Oh, huh. Because I thought, oh, maybe the Linux to Windows cross was the thing that OBS added in his virtual machine. And Jason actually was doing MinGW. Just going over to a Windows box. Hmm. Is there something you have to do about that? Well, I guess we list again. Okay. So does this just mean we go into the store and get a different... okay. It's a different package. Okay, we should have this one. It's not installed. Still on my device. How do we uninstall it? I guess that's standard. Well, I did a command that was supposed to enable it. How do we know if... how do we know if it's on? Version 2, you'll see the version number. Don't, or if you see an error message. And then we still shell. Yep. Let's now. Okay, so this has install. Description. This option installs 2004, so that's the same as like what appears to be the most recent. Maybe maybe it's not the most recent. It just is the one that shows up. Doesn't really say which WSL version it is. They give you the prompt, but they still do it. Oh, what I forgot to check was... No, it's still version 1. Oh, it's you. So first you have to enable it, then you have to set it. Oh no, this is not set version Ubuntu, set default version. Requires an update to its kernel component. Okay, so we didn't actually read this thing. Update package. I guess I don't need it, but it was supposed to be better. Oh, so there's all these articles about it, but it, because they were talking about WSL as like an older version. It is officially released for a while now. Like 18.907, and we're like 19. Okay. Okay. Does that mean that we can do conversion in process? So there's additional features on top of that that's in preview. Oh. So apparently that skips putting in a username and just makes you root. Well, maybe we want to reinstall that anyway. Because we kind of skipped the install process. Oh, move is an interesting option. Ah. Yeah, the Enterprise Edition kind of lags behind for safety, doesn't it? Yeah, and isn't Enterprise the one that comes without all the Candy Crush junk? I'm not actually sure I've cleaned all that stuff off. Yeah. Oh, and of course now we've reinstalled, so... What's that default version? No installed. Okay, so it's not done yet. We're not missing any windows. Did it fail? Oh, pfft, thanks. Does it not Hmm. Uh, Not right now. Okay, so just all the installs and uninstalls. All right, so this is where, well, does this thing have anything? Configure. Yeah, they don't talk about that process. Yeah, but is this root? Is this standard user account? What are we configuring here? Lovely. Standard user with sudo. Okay. So if you cancel out of that, you just end up with root, and I guess you could go make a user. So then this is presumably the same as the WSL shell? Although they were doing it in PowerShell. Mounted as a directory in Linux. So Linux has to be mounted as a folder in... Oh, I thought they said it was the same. But where? Envin Ubuntu Home. Okay, so it's like... Okay, well maybe that's not quite so as convenient as I was hoping. Okay, so it is like... Okay. Yeah, so this is starting to feel a little bit more like a Vagrant without even the directory merging. Okay. Yeah, okay. And then there's WSL. which is empty. Maybe that's some sort of like merge directory thing? So if I wanted to... If I wanted to use this to compile the OneLife stuff, we would actually go to that directory. Now that would be operating kind of across the share boundary, which could be a little bit weird. Keep Linux copy and Windows copy. Really slow. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So the thing that's really convenient about my old setup is that I have a single command line, which is... Yeah. I have a single command line. What? Yeah, but could I play it? And I've recently added a feature that's not supported on Linux. So maybe not. One of the things that's really useful is to go compile command and execute. So running it on Linux could kind of do that. I would not be able to develop the... So it kind of works and kind of doesn't. Yeah, so far this is not really sounding better than MinGW. I mean, there are things where it might be good, like it might be nicer for like the Ruby data server, although you've got the cross-share stuff again, where I'd probably want to be editing in my native environment. Okay, well, oh yeah. If this is native Linux, it would probably be able to handle the terminal stuff better. Although right now I'm not seeing a big difference between, well, I guess it's technically not a separate kernel, so it's not a full virtual machine. So there's probably a little bit less overhead there. Ah, yeah. But I would have to use... Do we even have this here? Okay. It probably doesn't have any of my... Yeah, it doesn't have any of my settings. And we could probably work that out. Oh, is this... Well, I've got search hit bottom. Oh, right, doesn't have my settings. Yep. I think there we go. My fingers are failing me. So this probably has uses, but I don't really know if it's going to be comfortable for cycling on a interactive application. Maybe it would be useful for working on, bits of the environment if we were doing inside the cross-compile Docker. It might be useful for running Docker stuff so you actually have console. We can do interactive consoles. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be a better environment for working on the application itself. Oh, WSL2 is more complicated. Instead of a directory. Yeah. Okay, so some of the directness of the other system is actually lost in WSL2. It's not just a directory. So maybe you could have had direct file reference in WSL1. Yeah, well, I mean, but it's more like it's like a virtual share, it's not actual files. Unless this thing was kind of a virtual share too. Yeah, this would be overwritten by that. Okay, so I still have the problem of the compile and execute command. Having it be actual files would get rid of maybe get rid of the impedance mismatch, and I could edit on full Windows. Although really, if I'm using Vim, just getting a window up wouldn't be that different. Okay, yeah, I kind of wondered how they handled that. So there are probably some other tricks we could be doing here, but oh well, there's graphics with XAC. Graphical utility, so I'd kind of have to do that to be testing a Linux version. Manipulate completely with VS Code on Windows. Oh, and then there's a special extension for it, which probably handle some of the translation. Yeah, I don't see how I get the... Well, maybe you could do something like... I think there was something about command arguments to WSL. So you could say, WSL compile. And then we come back to Windows and execute. That's still going to have everything going over the shares, which are going to be a little less efficient. All right, I need to... I want to refresh my memory on which thing got added here. I thought I copied minor gems. Okay. Guess I didn't quite drag that. Start executables for your Windows from WSL. Okay. So if it's Windows format, it starts it in Windows. If it's Linux format, it starts it in Linux? But that's executing Notepad in the Windows file system. If it's in a virtual hard disk and we develop in the Linux system and start in the Linux system, would it still be able to do that? And then if it did, then the files would be in Linux and you'd have all the overhead. Oh, I never actually closed this, I guess. No, it was the configure, wasn't it? But it was still in here somewhere. Was it game? Platforms? Makefile. Root one life. Okay, 132. So I might not actually have this. Was the Windows on Linux actually part of the patch? So you're not offsite. You're documents. What? Let's see. So where would that come in? That would be somewhere in our setup process. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So the cross compile is actually something I've set up. So in a sense, this is, I don't know, more native to what Jason's doing? Wait, is this actually... Okay, so this is a separate... Well, this is like the fragment that sets up the platform stuff. Or the platform specific little bit. Huh. Yeah, so to develop in there, it's not that Jason develops on Linux and can cross compiles for Windows. He must, you know, like take Git over or something and do MinGW to make the Windows builds. All right, so now well, the question of, okay, so what the heck were we running? Because I think it was essentially a 32-bit version of the compiler. Into WSL and runs, but slower. Well, we still sort of have the problem when we're doing the alternate configure process, so we may have to make those patches work with all the pulling and updates. I guess that's configure, which you kind of do once and then keep the make file around. But I guess one of the things I was wondering if this would be able to avoid some of the sort of jank of having to have the MinGW separate prompt. And it sounds like this is a very similar thing where it's like this separate window that's running stuff in the Unix-like environment. Installation manager. Setup. So does that mean it manages which version you get? No, this one. Oh, you mean you didn't get MinGW to work? I might have to flip my other monitor over to the other computer and reference some stuff about how we set it up. Now, that's MinGW. Yeah, because I'm thinking. I think something else installed. They didn't install it here. Something else installed a version of it. All right. So I'm going to lose my other monitor here, which means I'm going to kind of lose chat. Probably should move that. I don't know if I can. Yeah. I'll have to come back for it. So on the old computer, well, we have MinGW and so there's MinGW and there's MSys. So we have MSys64, which I guess I'm not completely certain that it was for this application. MSys64, okay. Selection of option requires administrative privileges. Graphical user interface. I don't remember if I had this. I can pretty much say I've never used it if I did. I forgot it was there. Okay, so there's the MinGW32. Okay, so MSys is a... Is it still working? 132 of 113, 100%, okay. Okay, so MSys must be a separate download then. And then we hope that that all works. MSys based on modern MinGW64. Using MGW64. Okay, here's something I need to look at. What was my shell linking to? Was it linking to MinGW or was it linking to MSys? Well, it's called an MSys shortcut, so I guess we do need that. Oh no, MinGW MSys. Maybe the 64 was for something else. But I didn't look which. No, it's just MinGW get. Did that only install MinGW get? And then we actually have to run that? Okay. Update, install, package spec. Okay, so that was the installer. We still have to know what we want to install. Let's see, so is this one of the things that we've got? I probably long since lost track of the install threads. Okay. Okay, so there's the builds. The early zoom mods. Well, I don't know if I can get compiling stuff in there. This is more early zoom stuff. Cross compilation. Okay, so this is the VirtualBox style setup. So it's not necessarily MinGW. He's got a whole bunch of extra scripts. Compiling on Windows and MSys. Installed MGW with MSys. Okay, so what do we get into? Okay. Binary utilities. All right, is there... There's downloads, but how do you use them? Documentation? Spaces in the path name. Install it proper. Oh, do I need the GUI to use the get nicely? Click the quit button. I didn't see a continue button. If you installed the GUI, graphical user interface. You should use the... So apparently that's a way to that has a way to install the GUI? What's the GUI package called? You see, the instructions are use the GUI. Command line. Okay, GCC, G++, G32 make. So this is where yeah, just not a lot of detail. Oh yeah, and SDL. Oh, you did it inside MSys. Okay, so that doesn't look very detailed. Pulls it from the main. Linux folks. Wasn't there another JSON thread on how to get the source? Setting up your personal client. And Ubuntu. Okay, so this is to make the Linux version. Well, it does tell you which packages you need in some form or another. And I see this is where I've forgotten how we got some of this stuff. And we got pull and build latest, which I think we've got that stuff, aren't we, linking? Or maybe I just need to search for like compiling Windows or something. Well, okay, we found that thread. Install MinGW MSys. Which is less obvious than you'd hope. I mean, I guess that's where we do like we do a G++ and just kind of keep adding stuff until we've got it all. This is using a system configuration thing, but that's the Linux-oriented one, I believe. There's another Docker build. Okay, well. I think he said to install ImageMagick normally. Available packages. Let's see. So for now, we'll just put this in here. And we'll just kind of collect stuff and then try to figure out what actually worked. And then in, well, I guess for them it's C ngw bin ngw get.exe install G++. We've got our reference documents. So that's a compiling from source on Linux. Okay, this is compiling on Windows. Also, okay, so that's the msys shell. So is msys one of the packages? Well, bin utils, compiler collection. I mean, maybe that would have its own dependencies. Windows API, C runtime. Nothing about MSys here. So he's just saying installed MGSIT with MSys. Or does he mean he got MinGW's part of MSys? MG332, where was that? I never did set up a virtualization thing for this computer. That might have been handy. MinGW MSys. So is that a package? Oh, okay, it's a package. Okay, I downloaded the MinGW SDL binaries. Oh, okay, so that is the download. Oh, wasn't that useful? Okay, where the heck did I put you? All right, so we've got MinGW, we've got MSys. I've got the download for SDL. Would I have run it from there? Well, if we try to compile and it says it can't find it, I guess we'll find out where to put it. Oh, run make native on the SDL package. Okay. Were you possibly an offsite? No. Okay, well, there's some of the script stuff. Make native. Open the MSys shell. Which do we even have an MSys shell yet? Okay. Where the heck did I put these? Was it possibly somewhere in the MinGW directory? What do I get for not getting remote desktops up, I guess? So C, MinGW. Well, I've got SDL includes. Oh, unless it's just like libstl and it's not in the folder. Okay, yes, there is a libstl there. Actually, that's an interesting question. Where it was. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Label packages. Maybe I have to do unknown package. Version bounds. Open your eyes. Source and license. Okay. Okay, so definitely not that. So we need this shell. So right now we've got this in download. What are you? Something from Mac OS. So really we want this folder. Don't know what the all the dot underscore stuff is for, but we would put that something like there to get it developed or get it made. And then you would go make native. Okay, we've got a lib, we've got an include. STL.dll. Copy image magic. Image magic. Okay, so he had user include user lib. All right, so the make file may very well have been customized. All right, so this is what we've got so far. We've got, well, copy link location. All right, I'm not referencing that right now. Oop. All right, so I think I just ended up copying the SDL files over last time. I don't know if that's the super proper way to do it, but that's like the system where things are going to get included versus just kind of adding it as yet another path. Oh, this is configure, make install. Would that be, so should that maybe be configure? And he skipped that step? All right, maybe this version is already configured? I mean, /configure means it has to be in this path, right? That just seems actually wrong. And this hides dot tiles too, apparently. Hmm. All right, well, it'll complain about missing files if that's the case. Yeah, I think what I ended up doing last time was actually copying it into the MSys folders, or the Ming folders, MinGW folders. Windows binaries. Expected convert. This is a particular version of ImageMagick. I don't know. That the exact version is gonna matter. I mean, it sounds like if it's the binary doing something for the and that's from like more the full build process. I don't know if anything I'm doing is actually gonna need the conversion, but this is something that might be handy anyway. Okay, so I think since my system is technically 64-bit, well, I guess it's like a 7-ish something. Trying to PDF stuff. Options. Start menu. No desktop icon. We might need that. Don't know. He said copy it to convert. I think this is just for the command line. I could maybe see needing this for other stuff. Okay, so that was actually a search. In the ImageMagick directory. Okay, so he did it inside MSys. I don't think, I mean, maybe that simplified some paths that we'll have to look into. All right, so I think what I ended up doing last time was just copying the SDL stuff so that maybe we could see if so we're now going to put it in Now it is in documents. Oh ho. Yeah, that's why it's kind of nice having two environments if I need to go back. All right, I shouldn't need to reconfigure. I don't know if that would do anything useful for me. I mean, I don't know if I would do some system checks or something. Actually, that may have broke my makefile overwrite. Oops. Well, I can copy that back. In fact, it might be useful to see if there's any differences there. So that would be game source. Yeah. Do I have one thing? I've got SDL and I've got SDL. You're down in the tar. Documents, a whole. One life, game source. So Windows should. Oh, I guess it's only when it's in the same folder. Okay. Oh, that's right. I still have to install Beyond Compare in here. Okay. So we've done nothing that gives us diff. Can get diff do files? Oh, I'm not in game source. Okay. Oh, is this? Well, they're kind of all. Oh, okay. So this is MinGW. This is get window. Did I get these confused? It feels like they've like swapped font presentations. Actually, I should make clean. Yep, include SDL. Okay, so this is. I wonder if he set up SDL in. Okay, so he added ImageMagick to path. Okay, he updated configure to have their other line endings. He added this. So maybe this is where he installed SDL2? Oh. I guess make native set that up for me? Huh. Maybe it just include. Oh, or maybe this is a different version of SDL though. Do we have a? Well. Do we have a version of Vim here? Well, this has to be somewhere in the MinGW tree, right? Okay, so it's not MinGW include. Where is its virtual file system? You don't have a user. I mean, you've got a bin. Got an Etsy. Oh, we did make native in this environment. So user include must go to here. Okay. So maybe our workaround last time was to copy it into MinGW so we didn't have to mess with the makefile. All right, so this is updating makefile. Compile flags, root path. Minor gems dependency file. Compile. Compile flags. He didn't really say where he added those. It seems like it'd be one or both of these. Also, were you... Yeah, okay, so you still had the other line endings. Actually, okay, so yeah, there's Unix. Oh, so it's open in Unix mode. We've got all the carriage returns. To link compiled objects, platform link. I guess that'd be compile flags. So that would cover probably, let's see, where do we actually fall down here? It is, in fact, minor gems. -I root directory. Minor gems graphics. Let's see, so root directory of here is what, game source one life. Does that mean I could have put lib and include at the same level as this stuff? Well, it installed it to users. So that only affects this local environment. I'm debating between modifying the makefile and modifying the environment. Because the makefile is, we have that configure step. It would be nice if it was mostly usable everywhere. Well, I guess I'm not technically doing a cross compiler anymore, although it is, I guess MinGW is sort of a cross-platform thing. I was going to look at using Windows subsystem Linux, but that actually seems to be an awful lot like a Vagrant style thing where it's actually a VM. Like, since I had this working in a form where I could like do compile and run. But yeah, pretty much it's developed primarily on Unix by the original developer, and then the computer I have that's decent for streaming is Windows. Now, I do have the other computer now. So I've considered converting that to Linux, so then you could. So MinGW32 has Pacman. So MSys2 is using Pacman rather than an MGW get. Is that what's going on? Okay. Interesting. Oh, and that gets the right version of SDL? Okay, because I think like the current version of SDL is 2. So that would be that can be an issue. But then that gets all your SDL paths in the same place. Okay. So we would probably want to go back here and do a make clean again. Yeah. So what do you do instead? Because I mean, this isn't my system, so I just wanted to modify the program. Of course, I don't have enough experience with build systems to have something good off the bat. Bat files. Okay. Well, if it's your own project, you just need to compile it here. I think the complicated build systems come in when you're trying to do cross-system and cross-platform things. And you can be able to adapt to the environment. And maybe some of that gets overdone just from habit. I don't know. I don't know dot command S. Oh, do you not support clean? The server builds. Well, oh, because it had not been built. The server had not been built before. Okay, well that's. Okay, so if we're gonna remove that, and then we could possibly have both. It's just a matter of which shell you start. Do I still have this up? I still have this up. Okay, I had an MSys64 directory, which means I may have tried this before. Maybe I didn't have all the processor type prefixes on there. Oh, jeez. So this is where that, well, maybe I had this for something else, but. All right, so notes. For now, it's an alternate. We can switch it over if need be. That might be as the wrong user. All right, so that's that MSys. Now we have MSys64. So we've got MinGW64XZ, MinGW32, 32-bit BAT. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I did last time. I figured out what it was launching. MSys2 MSys. Okay, that's a link. Okay, shortcut, shortcut, shortcut. That's a command. MSys. Okay, so that's generic, and then these are the specific bit sizes. Huh. It makes me wonder what the other one does, if it's not 32 and 64. All right, so this is like a shortcut to a command with an argument. So essentially we would do this then. And you're saying what is synchronizing package databases? Okay. And installing updates, I guess? All right, so we have MSys2, MinGW 32-bit. So is -s like the install command? Well, yeah, that, oh no, there is sync. Okay, so S is sync. And then it just assumes install for anything else. Help, version, database files, query, remove, sync, dep test, upgrade. Okay, so basically operation, blah, 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 blah. And if there's no other option, it just assumes install, which they don't really document. Oh, sync is install. Okay. Okay, so that is no longer copy pasted. Oh. Okay. All right, updates itself and then updates everything else. Oops. That would easily look like a duplicated line. Vice. I thought I was paying attention, but oh, there's a lot of dependencies here, I guess. Oh, because this is doing the MinGW image magic instead of the Windows image magic. So that's why we have all the extra stuff. It's like, this seems so much faster than the other one. All right, now we're supposed to do this again. Okay, so now it gets in, now that it has that stuff out of the way, it does a few more things. So it's like self-update, update it, up to the other stuff. Okay, everything is up to date. Oh, okay. Well, just that stuff wasn't at the absolute latest version, I guess. All right. Bit of a longer path. Ah. Okay, maybe we need to install make as well. Or did I get my shells mixed up? No, there's my standard git shell. Base devel. Oh dear. Default equals all. So it's a group, which maybe in some cases Pacman uses for alternates. Diffutils, DOS to Unix, file. All the auto makes, autoconf. Yeah, might not need everything, but. Like Python, I'm not sure we needed Python here. It was a dependency of something else. Yeah, but we already installed ImageMagick. So it was something in this package that made it do that. In this group. All right. Maybe we should do this again. We've got all that stuff. Oh, that was down here. Ah, okay. Yeah, that was a pretty long list. I mean, I needed make immediately. Maybe we want like grep and file and stuff. 18. Biek? Or is that a smiley? Maybe we break that out. Well, it took us a little while to hit STL before. I guess my other question is, did we grab like an SDL, like DLL or anything, and will that be compatible? Yeah, we've not modified our makefile yet. Yeah, okay. So that is a little caveat there. So here's the problem. Well, no, not necessarily, because I don't ship this executable to anybody else. We're still compiling with a different SDL when we do public builds. Because this SDL is going to be the one that's shipped with the game. And if this ends up being a different SDL, okay, so that's a whole bunch of extra DLLs all of a sudden. Are you sure this is not SDL2? Where would you install this stuff to? It's just libstl. Well, there's a libstl2 there, which suggests that we've got it somewhere. So we definitely installed SDL2 somewhere, and maybe there's like still kind of a compatibility layer. But it actually kind of is SDL2. Or, well, in any case, it's a different version, which is why the DLLs aren't compatible. Anyway, where did I put it? Somewhere in here for documentation purposes. What did I put this near? Platform blah blah blah. And then somewhere in that process, we got different line endings. Fabulous. I feel like maybe I took care of that when I was first doing this stuff. Oh. Okay, so if we were to reconstruct our old setup, it would be build Windows. What are we on? Oh, One Life Game Source. 343. Hmm. Well, no error yet. We haven't gotten into full-on game yet. Not you. Package server run. Huh. Maybe I had some stuff left, like, lying around from previous builds. Okay. But seems to be okay so far. Huh. I don't remember seeing this recently, but oh well. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it. All right, so that subsumes anyway, we've got this partly documented. It should be a different file somewhere. So in that case, I wouldn't need you. And we could actually uninstall the other setup. Okay, I just had to get focus disappear, I guess. There's MSys2. That's another MSys64. Game source. D. Build windows. Which we hopefully don't need anymore. So what does this look like? All right, so mingw get. Did I even have the shell before I did that? So that once again brings us back to what did we install? We installed G++ and MSys. Remove. Okay, and then do you have like an uninstaller for yourself? Well, we still have a lot of stuff despite doing uninstall here. I just remove the tars? Okay, so you're not that. Does that mean our download file is the uninstaller? Huh, we got a warning about this last time. So do I just delete this? Yeah, see, the problem is I didn't install the GUI. And I don't know how to install a GUI. I forgot what that window even was. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have a Windows install entry. It has its own shell. We might possibly have... See, they've actually done too good a job of this stuff. Oh, we haven't probably done anything yet. It'd be under M, right? MSys2, so we didn't actually get a start menu shortcut for it. We just went in and made our own desktop shortcut. Well, how about... maybe? Network and programs and features. Okay, so this is like completely generic. Here's all the ways you might be able to uninstall blank. Submit files. Examine your path variable. You would have done yourself. Okay, so confirmed. So where are we? Well, it's not quite lunchtime yet, although it's getting there. You know, we haven't tested make distribution. But I don't normally do that anyway, because it's well, I think the issue was the line conversions, which because of the way the Git checkout works, we don't necessarily need. Well, I mean, you need the files, but I'm normally running it from a thing that's copied from the normal release. Partial. Now, it's possible I had some other things set up in that directory that took care of some... oh, the other thing I need for development here is stat-git. I normally do that in a regular console. Okay, so these have different icons. Yeah. Now, I mean, maybe it wouldn't hurt to check for updates. But I think this is just something I installed in my personal bin, so the copy could be just as good. Okay, so this looks like we go up to V23. I don't see a releases. Well, I guess the... Okay, this thing is, in fact, just a Python program. There's really not much here. Would it be init? It does almost nothing. Version. Git min version, Python min version. So this is versions of dependent things, not versions of us. Do you have your own version command? No. Main? Display version information. stget, and of course, get version. Stacked git. But maybe get built-in version. Aha. Okay, so I am in fact several releases behind. Python versions greater than or equal to 3.5. Oh, did we end up with a Python from something already? 3.8. Oh, that's MSys. Okay, still 3.8. Package repositories. Downloads, various release. Make all doc, make install moves things into those locations, I believe. Support for older versions of Python. And technically, I'm missing a few versions here. Minimum Git version, but we're probably got pretty well updated here in the new computer. Okay, so that is this release, which we need to... So they uploaded a tar.gz. I don't know if that's going to be any... This is the Git feature. This is probably more of a release thing. Do we just have a changelog? Here's Debian packaging, depreciated Python. I think I was using STG publish. It didn't actually, it didn't end up being the next release, it looks like. So what is the equivalent of publish then? I guess the instruction site might have better information on that. So I guess we just stop at some version that still supported publishing. Styling of large patches. And this is where so we added a new feature and then depreciated a few versions later. Branch to be overridden. Oh, maybe I'm not using. No, no, I think it was export, not publish. I guess it would be extract here because we know it's just going to be a tar file somewhere. Oh, this one is not. It's a dist folder with a tar file. Interesting. Okay, so maybe this dist isn't so great. All right, so installation. Oh, I might have to do this in a environment where I have make. Make all doc. Yeah, so I don't even have a make here. I have a context menu for this one. System cannot find the file specified. Oh, the MSys environment doesn't have Git. Well, isn't that a pickle? Base system doesn't have make, MSys doesn't have Git. And I normally would be running it here. All right. Yeah, but then I'd have 2 copies of Git. Seems a little silly. Yeah, maybe. So there's documentation. Generate the Python command list. Bash completion script. I'm not sure what that does. Okay, so setup might actually be a library. Distutils core. I guess my question is, what does this do that's actually useful? Or we just go back to doing this? I did not end up using this version of ACK. Now, because of that, I'm actually not sure I've got this set up. No, okay. Okay, all right, so that is that window over here. That is this window in OneLife. Oh, and Git. Okay, I was not happy with that. Environment can only contain strings. Now, why are we in master cherry picking? These windows are going to be hard to tell apart, though. All right, so silly question. MSys Okay, so I had modified that to set the Python interpreter. So what does user bin env? Oh. Well, that's set up, but that's probably the same thing it's using. So that seems kind of okay. Okay, so this is... It's not just the code itself. This is the same code. So what we had before was a constant reference. Okay, so that is not sufficient. Okay, so new or old, doesn't matter. User bin env doesn't seem to matter. Docker compose. Oh, it's if it was manually fixed code, then it wouldn't have had. Then copying the version from my old system would have done it. This doesn't seem... Okay, it could be... Contains a Unicode object. Things are internally implemented as Unicode. Read as Unicode and packaged to popen. Convert all the env keys and values to stir. Well, we don't. Problem is, since this isn't that program, I'm not sure what this looked like before the change. Subprocess.popen. Self.run git. So subprocess.popens or an execute child window great process. Type error in Python 3 on Windows. B to stir, huh? List plus, list environment items plus. So actually, this is a question. Unhandled exceptions. It's a key error. That we probably have something similar to that. Very large commit. All right. So this is in run.py. And it's one of those things that maybe setup would like go through and fix some of these things, but I guess we'd install git just for that. Well, okay, so we're in setup, but where? All right, so we're not necessarily directly modifying env. Well, prep env. If self.env fsn code we're specifically on 1307. There is no 1307. Run.py, run.py, run.py. 140. Run with captured IO. Self.data.runIO, which has no parameters. Environment can only contain strings. So p open with env self.prep.env. Is there perchance something like this? Okay, so that is a royal mess. They are in fact bees though, which they seem to indicate was a problem. And we got all, yeah, it's fully word wrapped. So we have one report that you want to do things as stirs instead of bees. Closed, closed. Merge, merge, merge. There's so much merged stuff you don't know. Oh, so this is a PR. Miniconda. Curl PowerShell. Maybe it's not related. No, that's that one. I guess they just referenced this one? And maybe that commit didn't actually do it? This is the weird thing where we're getting different versions of Python again. But I mean, I've specifically changed the version to 3.8. Oh, which bin is this? All right, there's our old one. I think I may have had a Python 2 in path on my other system. Okay, unsolved. Runner.py is of type Unicode instead of stir. So I guess, is B the Unicode type? Unicode type equals Unicode equals stir. Filtered env. Well, we've got a function that gets our env. It is running it through encode. Okay, so less than 3 is Unicode. It is stir in 3, which this only supports 3. So if instance of stir, then encode UTF-8. Oh, CPython 38. Isn't it something env? Prep env. FS encode. Code to file system encoding. Get system file system encoding. I wonder if we got something weird because of the git shell. Okay, I haven't even got you in this path yet. I only have that in my other path, apparently. Is this not? Oh, you don't recognize it as executable. So that's still essentially a Unixy script style thing. Ah, right. Okay, now does that work? Because it didn't invoke any git commands. Yeah. Really? Really? Okay, so this is parameter format. Okay, so it's not a shell environment thing. So they're doing decode. Okay. If it's an instance of bytes, we decode it. Else, we encode UTF-8, encodes UTF-8. We decode, we encode and decode. Actually, I forget if I was looking at. Yeah, apparently it's decode because it's. That one's doing if a decode from environ get. So it seems like they've tried to account for this. I wish I knew which string it was blowing up on. So what is a... So we've got B and we've got stir. Well, it answers our immediate question. ARIS Unicode for raw. This is a Python 3 bytes literal. So if we go into decode, we're going to hit that. I mean, I think, well, no, maybe it's converting it into bytes. Okay, so we didn't really need that. None. Wasn't it supposed to go through all the keys? Oh. Maybe that's something else. Because prep env for kv in self.env items. No bound method run.env. Oh, underscore env. Okay. That seems to suggest. Maybe there's multiple calls here. Huh, so you're not B. You are B. So that's supposed to be getting rid of the binaries. And also, what extraneous characters are we throwing in here anyway? Is there any more general advice? Yeah, there's too many hits for get. Oh my gosh. Yeah, nothing specific. So P open can contain only strings. Oh, so this is actually going to be, this is the environment we print out first, and then this is what we get going into prep env. So I examined env, not prep env, is that right? No, I printed prep env with a random backslash and save properly. Oh, okay, so that's the value of prep env, the result of prep env, and then the value of it again. Because it kind of ends up, we print this runs first, then we run it here. So prep env is returning the B version. This says it can only contain strings. I'm just curious. Wow. The code that's deliberately trying to properly handle encoding things is making it wrong. Fs encode key value. Fs encode. Okay, so you always call encode. Which always returns B. And you see, we don't just use this for the environment stuff. Like environ get key. It almost seems like we should... Is this something that could be fixed by... setup? Then we need a new one of you. No, not. Geez, where are you? Downloads. Dist. Just to say we have a Git. Error 2. Configuration file ASCII-doc.conf missing. Well, okay. Oh, copying built-in version, command list. So build now. Maybe we can do without documentation. Scripts STG. All right, bin. Nope. Make does not take care of it. That is bizarre. So fs decode tests the type. Fs encode encodes it into a binary type, which is a byte type, which is not accepted by popen. So maybe popen should not be taking file system type. Anyway, do I have... So why are we saying cherry picking? Oh. maybe Git didn't recognize, or maybe that's how it thinks of stgit as cherry picking. But we have other things going on here. Oh, we apparently ran some stuff while we were. I don't know why I edited those. Because I tried to start this. I don't know why. If I started it, I may have started it accidentally in the compile directory. Well, just seeing how it ran in integrated graphics. Well, may as well do it faster. Yeah. Okay, so this is this copy. So there's some stuff I've kind of kept around for a while that I'll look at that later. I get the wrong one. Oh. We must have been looking at something there. Okay. Oops. All right, you're the MSys. I normally do Git stuff because it is different copies. Oh, we must have. Did make convert these slightly different? That would be interesting. And slightly problematic. Because if make is going to do the graphics and do them differently every time, so this. So this is going to be a problem with that embedded ImageMagick, maybe. Game source. Nothing to do for all. Okay, so maybe they were just the dates were out of sync. So now they've got refreshed dates. It won't build them. Okay, a few things I want to look at there. Stuff we're messing around with in chords for the server stuff. Syntactic test we might want to look at cleaning up. It automatically doesn't look at dot files, does it? Wait, did I specifically had to put a blank in there to keep it from doing something else? I know there was something with that template that was putting things into the patches that were not readable in the other version of StGit, which is kind of the embedded Docker environment. So it's possible that has that thing going on. All right, so we had that. Let's see, has there been, any updates? So I could maybe see getting an update or a One Life update today. Oh, okay. Well, the malformed move message. If e equals 0. Oh, believed. Okay. Yeah, I think let's talk about that in 2 Hours One Life. So apparently, because the move is like reference position and deltas, so apparently he was sending no deltas. Which would probably just account to... Oh, that would fix the crash, but that might still allow you to do a long-range path. Oh, this does return right away, so maybe that'll short-circuit it. Oh, yeah, M-type equals unknown. Bleat tokens return. Okay, so that's just a little bug fix. Basically, I never got around to publishing some of the changes from before, but like we're practically going to have a release today. And then I would need to be looking at, well, could I update that just so there's a slightly updated version? Was far look needs settings files and things before it's prime time. All right, so we can go up one. Okay, so I have not, in fact, configured... okay, so we have not... I thought I had done this. Or like I had copied like a git config file. Maybe I put it in the wrong place. Too many folders. Did I put it in documents instead of root? Maybe that's it? Okay. Oh, we actually did pop both, though. He just complained about not having a person. So I think that all of that ended up being pretty good. We could use current search feedback. Needs settings. Needs a build system. And now on our list, we have to add use container if that is in fact what that message ended up being. And there were updates to which fixes one of the big problems with the previous system. Well, no, it was originally babysitting on fires, so I still kind of want to be able to tune that. So I think all of that stuff. Okay, export works. README, changelog, patch to block new client messages. Yes. Okay, so I had a note for that. Line number changes are going to make actually maybe this will be a little bit easier to might be easier still. That's actually kind of what this is for, not game source. All right. I think I have to change some templates again. So st-get is in here, templates. Probably patch export. Shoot. Maybe I should just copy this. Because I think like possibly everything is an issue. Because the other one doesn't expect all that stuff. I guess I could have left the GUI open. All right, now you see as much as I love having the extra info, it's the other version of STG will not accept that. So this is not great for scanning for changes. This is slightly better. This has to be some line changes. Erase note car fades. Well, maybe that was actually reducing some. No, because this is the patch versus baseline. Oh, maybe it was reducing because it's the difference in the patch, which always gets confusing. So there's still a patch here, where there kind of shouldn't be any patch at all. All right, so this is something that we had to change for the colon stuff. Yeah, more spacing changes. Maybe I was removing trailing stuff so it didn't show up in my diff, but that actually made it show up in this diff, which is kind of annoying. Okay, so far it's just the search stuff. So this is probably, it's not matching the diff well. Oh, this is seeing the patch of the patch and colorizing it as if it was a single patch, maybe? No, this is the difference in the patch. This is, Well, maybe I did have to use that much stuff to duplicate. And then we actually ended up including some range changes in there. So I think that's pretty much it. Oh, update the README. Separate search filter. And I put that should be a new patch, or did I already add it? I probably included it in something else. Well, it certainly was at the top of the stack. All right. That's the status. Everything is modified. I have any of this already. That's disabled newer client messages. So this is the search change. Instead of slash. Hopefully none of those are special characters. I guess I should actually wait and tag to see if that's still going when I would be done here. And then I guess I can look at just straight up. So that's there, it can be tagged, it can be published. Meanwhile, I can look at potential conflicts with new code. Which would also mean I might need a corresponding server, although conflicts we can probably fix. Okay, and actually, I don't think data is going to be an issue at all here. I should have been any new content anyway. Not as of yet. Couple bug fixes. Why does Git say cherry picking? Cherry pick head. Okay, so not that rough. Must be st-git stuff. What makes Git thinks it's a cherry picking? Maybe... Okay, not rewinding. But we got rid of the message, wherever the heck it was stored. Wait, did everything push okay? Okay. Let's see, if we're on master, I might want to reference it separately. Oh, I don't have reference to this. Mostly we go to that one. Oh. So there's been a couple of things since our last versions thing anyway. So that was that support service. I guess that could have been a server thing along with some of the content, but it's server. Server, server, server. Oh, that's right. We have to consider if we want to do anything with cravings. I closed my window, apparently. That's object bank. Static. Get all possible food IDs. I don't know if that, I know I did a becomes food thing. I don't know if that could be useful to me. I mean, I guess right now it works, so no point in messing with it. So craving. Okay. So this, it's not new art. We might have to see if this causes us any layout issues. This is mainly just a display thing. So I'm going to play with that to see if I want to do anything with it. Oh. Well, it's a hint sheet, I guess. Server. Use it. Use uncontained. Oh, it's an extra param rather than a new message. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, it's just an extra param. Slide index. I might just use escape to regular pointer for that. There's no MEM bonus. I guess he used that somewhere else locally. Maybe I was using that. Oh, so he is also doing it for the slips. Yeah, I think I may have left the slips alone. Well, that's just same old numbers, just including that. Sampling when swapping. I think this is when receiving a change event. Server. Oh, this is hot off the press. And a little bit hard to read here. When solo killing is possible, do the enemies or target swapping allies? No explanation was given. No thing was explained to the killer, so they know that they don't still need to form a posse. Huh. Okay, so none of these are breaking. Because I should make sure it actually compiles. There's that little detail. So the server wouldn't recognize the use with index if we did it. So we'll test this real quick. I could try to get a live server. Just see if there's anything obviously goofy with cravings. Okay, no compiler errors. So we've got that if we need it. With this system, I should just see about. Well, maybe Windows Linux subsystem would be good for running local Docker servers. Build server. And see, I've got Fetch Live, but I think that gets live server by default. Live server. Okay, so I've had hooks for this. I don't remember if I've fully fixed the stuff that gets latest version. So if the Windows subsystem for Linux was good for Docker, you'd think the Docker people would say something about it, huh? Docker desktop. Okay, yeah, I would think that that would be a much better environment. But it's Docker Desktop. So I guess the question is, does Docker Desktop just use it if it's there? Or do you actually want to do? Yeah, well, to be honest, that's one of the reasons I thought about getting Windows Pro because, well, no, it didn't require it. It was just a lot better with it. Anyway. Okay, so the Docker Desktop can manage what its back end is. And then if I want to do terminal interaction stuff, I would do it in WSL in order to get, actually usable terminal redirection stuff. Well, I mean, if I'm doing like interactive command things. But you're saying like the Docker program will call out to the Docker daemon and use the right version. Well, I know the problem that they used to have, and maybe this was with the backend technology I was using, is like the you couldn't do interactive terminals. In the older version that I was doing. But installing Docker might be a battle for another day because it is, well, we're kind of waiting for a build right now, or at least download it. Okay, so these are the desktop, and then you've got Linux Engine. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was not a great experience last time I did it. Although I guess that well, they're already enabled, but thanks. Actually, I probably don't need to. Well, I don't know if it's in Docker or enable it in Windows. Hope it doesn't try to force a restart. But we can just put that off for a little bit if it does. I guess I don't usually pay attention to how long the server builds take. I don't remember them being terribly long though, because that's the whole watched pot thing. There we go. Uh, no, not now. Well, okay, it's not done. It says it's done, but it's not. It's like, we'll log out some other time. Okay, no, we're finally done fetching for whatever reason. We still have to build. that one's relatively fast. Never pinned this. Oh, that's why I don't normally notice the time things. It's usually at the end of a bunch of build output. Oh, I don't have the translation in this. It's the copied thing. But I have a craving for burdock root. Okay, how does that interact? Probably it's just layered with yum, huh? Oh, no, yum got moved up. So this would only be an issue if I have stacked home markers, which I rarely do. So we just moved everything up. And I guess I could move my stacked home markers up. I don't know that I actually had like a lot of those. I had a couple. Well, they have to be off screen anyway, but yeah, sort of. I've heard the same rumors. The rumors are false. Or I haven't properly updated things, but it's an updated server because it gave me a craving. The client knows how to display it. It doesn't have the string. But, yeah, that feature did not make it in. Or got bugged somewhere. Of course, my hunger is also super slow, so maybe that's messing it up. Okay, so that's not enough. Actually, I kind of need to get a... Oh, got one right here. Oop. Okay, so they do go behind. So I might have to deal with that, but I rarely use this thing, so it's not urgent, so I'm not... Actually, the slips probably are big enough. I could just bump them up if they get close enough to that. Oh, but the length might depend on the length of the food. Anyway, should I need a client, I can grab that and have new stuff. Oh, one other thing. I should just check that I can escape out and do table stuff if I really want to. All right, I don't know that I got any tables set up. And some boxes somewhere for some navigation things, yeah. Oh. That's right, that's not the Discord app, so it doesn't know I'm in streamer mode. Not feast table, just plain old table. Oh, I don't have the updated data. So it won't actually do it until you have the updated. So he hasn't actually pushed the content change on that yet. Okay. Pickles. Yeah. What's the tag? Use on contains. Now, I might have to force a cache rebuild. Yeah, exactly. But I need 3371. Oh, no, it has to be on the server, and that's... That, one thing about the Docker setup is it's not easy to do server data updates or any kind of server code modification. That is one little downside. Which maybe that would make more like a Vagrant style thing, make more sense for that. At least for, if you're trying to do any kind of server dev. But oh well. All right, so it looks like I need to restart. I definitely need to eat lunch. I can try getting out a little interim feature release just to kind of get that out of the way. I guess one nice thing about having a Docker setup here is some point I can try working on the build system to support the looking around. Because I'm going to have to do a little makefile hack on that. Or patch or something, but I kind of didn't want to get a whole other repository of minor gems patches. So for now, just having them in here and grabbing them might be easier. So have you guys actually been in game? I'm curious how heavy the new players load is. I was kind of thinking about going in to help out a little bit. But last I looked at Reflector, it wasn't huge. Yeah, it's still not huge. Anyway, I guess I'll read up on stuff and see how it's going. Oh, and I still haven't updated my, well, this is working. But updated my OBS browser stuff. Anyway. Thanks for watching. I need to get my other things set up here. See if I have anything to recommend. This is what I'm normally on today. We got a little bit wrapped up in stuff. What do we got? Well, we've got some Python automation. That I mean, we looked at some Python earlier, and it's kind of system setup stuff. So for someplace cool to hang out, Carlos Kidman is working on some Python automation BDD into Selenium. I guess that's probably automating Selenium, perhaps? Some browser testing stuff? I don't know. We can find out. But that's someplace cool to hang out. If it were someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye and until next time.